He still went and got her, brought her to America. They were in a hotel, and she says to him, "Well, you said you would take care of me. You said we would be in a house. Why are we not in a home? Why are we still in a hotel? We need a home. We need a home." So he goes to try and find an apartment.
Mhm.
What he has not told her is he has a felony, so nobody wants to rent to him. So they wind up getting one of those, the new fancy one bedroom apartments that have like the stainless steel everything, like the ones downtown, but they just be like this big.
Yeah.
So he gets her he gets they get in one of those apartments, and then he says eventually he asks her like, "Hey, so we need to cook more. Like, what do you think you're gonna want to like start cooking? We order out a lot." And she was like, "I can't cook. I can't cook. You said you were fine with club sandwich, baby. What I tell you, I was in here screaming." She was like, "You said you were fine with club sandwich," and he was like, "Well, I mean, club sandwiches are fine, but I can't eat club sandwiches all the time." And then she was like, in her confessional, like, "I don't cook," because she's only like 19, maybe 20. She's like, "I don't cook. My mother and grandmother cook for me. I could go back to Russia if and I never have to cook. Why would I do that? He told me he was rich. We should have maid. We should have butler. We should have chef." Fantastic. And then he got arrested for fraud,
Okay.
and she and went to prison, and she promptly divorced him.
Yeah.
She
Did she
promptly left
she
his
got to
ass.
stay?
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay.
And now she has a fancy apartment in LA, and she's modeling, and her YouTube is going crazy. And I love it. I love it for her.
All right. These shows they make me sad. All right, what this is a good
Oh,
time. No, it's sad. This is a good time to get started, to get into it. My guest today on Here's What I Got is an actor, is a writer, is a producer, is a creator, right? Is a game show host, an improv artist. She's also a former radio DJ. And I'm gonna see if I missed anything. No, that about sums it up. Is there anything else I missed?
that about sums it up. That
You
about sums
are
it up.
one of the most inspirational people to me, because when I see you go hard, it makes me want to go hard as well. So please welcome to Here's What I Got, Cristal Bubblin. What's up,
guys?
y'all?
Cristal Bubblin here with a natural hair tutorial. As you can see, my hair is 4C times 3. It's very thick, very dense, but I love it. It's the tops, it's the best. So what I'm going to do is probably my braided faux hawk, and to do that you're going to need some coconut oil to smooth the hair through and moisturize it, make it easy to pick through. My favorite metal afro pick, I love it, makes me feel super black. And some bobby pins, because we're going to do some braids and they're going to hold them in place. Now first you're going to use like a hazelnut size amount of the coconut oil, and then moisture, run it through your hair. Make sure you get like all the parts so easy to comb through. Then you take the pick, start at the ends because they get tangled a little faster, and then you can go a little deeper. I mean, it's not exactly easy, but you can comb through it and then just put on a wig. Just put on a wig, go about your day. You'll still be cute and natural underneath, but you don't have to go through that struggle. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed.
Thank you so much, Will. Oh
Listen,
my God. Like when you're in it and you're moving, like you just think, like, I always think I'm not doing enough. So when I hear somebody say something like that, I'm like, wow, wow, maybe I'm okay.
you know what I love,
Maybe.
I love about you, and I will tell this to anybody that will listen to me. Because when I was out there, I was trying to big yell up all the time, all the time, all the time. And what I love about you, you're not scared to try new stuff, right? So it's like you didn't do clothing before, but let's just open a store. Let's do it. You probably hadn't really produced something big, and then there you go, like, yeah, you and Khalil, let's do it. Let's get it going. You were working. I remember you were working for what, Greenleaf for a while. You were
Hmm.
doing production on that. So it's like I just love to see people who are just not scared to fly, right? Like they just gonna
Yeah.
do what they need to do. And then you're out in LA, which is insane. living conditions out there. So for you to be able to make it and thrive out there is an amazing thing. Like you see, I was out there, I'm already gone. So it's like when I see people that are still out there doing their thing, it just makes my heart warm. So I'm happy to have you here, and I really want to give you your flowers at the top. But I also want everybody to know about your journey. I want everybody to know, how you started. Like my whole thing is like, I wish I knew you when you were a radio DJ, because those are some of my favorite people. And I know the behind the scenes. I used to do that back on Long Island. So I want to hear your stories about being a radio DJ, people you met, the people you couldn't stand, things like that. But just tell me how you made it out of New Jersey, and when did you know that you were going to pursue entertainment as your life journey?
I think I knew, like at 18, I knew. I've always been like, my mom always had me in ballet or acting classes or something like that. And I didn't really, I guess, like, the thing that happened for me was I was going to school and I was planning on majoring in like psychology. But I never forget, I heard Angie Martinez interviewing Method Man. And I don't remember what the like hot topic about Method Man was, but she didn't ask the question. And that annoyed me, because I'm like, as a fan, I'm a fan of both of them. Like, I love me some Angie Martinez. But I was just like that's not what I want to know. Like, you just asking him shit the label said. You know what I mean?
Right.
I want to know the shit. Like, so, and I just remember listening to that interview and being like, I could do that and I could do it better. And I changed my major, like right then and there. I was like, when I get to T, because right before I went to A&T, I was like, when I get to A&T, I'm going to figure out how to do radio. And when I got to school and they were signing me up for my classes and stuff, and I was talking to the guidance counselor, I was like, I want to do radio. What classes do I need to take? What track is that? What do I need to do? And so they put me in communications. And then that was my freshman year. And they had like this 1 credit practicum, which was like, I guess, like a baby internship. But it was only 1 credit as opposed to 3, which were the other ones, and nobody wanted to do it. But I was behind in credit, so I was like, I'll take it. Like, it's 1 credit. It'll help something. And so I wound up interning at 102 Jams, the commercial station there. And then within 6 months, I was on air. Like, I was doing their street team stuff, and then they had like a research department on the phones, and I was doing that for a little bit. But they knew, like, I came in like, I want to be on air. Like, that's what I want to do. You know what I mean? So I was pulling carts, because that's when you had to pull the cartridges. They were basically 8 tracks. You had to pull carts and CDs and stuff. And I was doing that. And then within 6 months, I was on air like part-time, like filling in. And then I had a regular shift. But yeah, I think that was when I knew. And I thought I would do radio forever, until the second time I got fired. Well, laid off. I got fired once, I got laid off, and then I got laid off once. And then when I got laid off, like the world of radio had changed. They introduced the PPM. They were like trying to take the personalities out of it more. So it was like more music, more ads, and it would be like less talk, but it was like more commercials. And I really loved the connection with the audience that you could make being a personality. So them taking that away, I was like, all right, I guess I'm over this. And then I started working in production, like being a PA and stuff. But this was in Houston, so there wasn't a lot of work. So at one point it was like me. Well, first after we got laid off from the station, because the station flipped format, I got a job at a show called Judge Alex. It was a court show. And they were looking for a producer, and I went in for the interview, and they figured like, oh, I was on the radio and I was producing that show, I could produce a court show. And I didn't realize there's 2 totally different types of things happening here. And It was actually weak. It was actually real mid because I was just calling people with small claims cases. They would just give us a stack of small claims cases, and we would call people and see if we could get them on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did that, and I met, people there that had been working in production that they knew TV was always their track. And at one point, it was like me and two other guys, and it was like we were the only PAs, maybe in Texas, definitely in Houston, because when the shows would come, like Rashad was the main one. He had always been working in production, but when the shows would come, they would call Rashad or this other guy, John, and then if they were busy, they would send it over to me. It was like we were the only ones. So we were doing good, but then everybody I worked with, like every show I worked with, like when America's Got Talent came or America's Best Dance Crew and stuff, they were like, you should come out to LA. You would do so good. You're so organized and you can delegate and, like, you know how to talk to people. And I was like, really? Word? Okay, cool. And then when I did make my way out to LA like a year later and I hit people up, like I remember one girl that I worked with who was a production coordinator on America's Got Talent. I was like, hey, I took your advice. I'm out here in LA now, so let me know if you have any, openings, you need any help. I'd love to jump on the team and, work with you again. And she wrote me back and she was like, yeah, I never made you any promises.
Yeah, see.
I was like, what?
I'd want to fight. See, we'd be fighting right then.
Oh, I did. I absolutely did want to. I absolutely did want to fight. And then I came out to LA for a job because I had worked on a show in Charlotte with a team. And I came out to LA for a job with the woman who was the head of casting for that show. And so I guess about like 8 months to maybe a year had passed between that show that I worked with her on initially and her having this opportunity. So I thought we had built like a friendship anyway, because we would like still talk in email and not be talking about business, be talking about family life and all that other stuff. So when she told me she had this job, she was like, I'd love if you could come out here and be on the team, let me know what you can do. And that's when like my family, I told my mom, she was like, go. She remembered you as an opportunity to go. Like, they gave me money and I drove across this country and came out here, and the woman fired me a week later. Now that I really was like, bitch.
What was the reason why she said you gotta go?
Oh, it was all fabrications. Well, it was all fabrications. So I'll try and make it short. When we worked on the show in Charlotte, she had hired her best friend to be her assistant casting director. Right. Her best friend didn't know shit about casting. She was just like a housewife. Her husband was in the military, and she was just like, I'm gonna throw my girl this check, right? And so when I came in, I basically cleaned up the whole casting department and made it run way smoother. But her best friend would basically go down to the producers and stuff when she wasn't around and talk about how incompetent she was. So she got her fired. So when I came to do this show, turned out, now I was considered an assistant casting associate, right? This woman was our casting producer, and then there was our casting director, who's the big boss. Me and the casting director realized we had the same birthday. Oh. So we kind of kikied about that. One day in like our team meeting, we kind of kikied about that. And then she realized I had been in radio. And that casting director was also the manager of Chanel West Coast from Ridiculousness, the little white girl.
Yeah.
So she was trying to really kiki with me because she thought I was going to get Chanel on, and I was like, no, for 2 reasons. No. So the casting producer who brought me out here saw that, and she felt threatened. She thought I was going to sabotage her. So she had told me, it was things like, she told me like, oh, we don't work on weekends. It's just Monday through Friday. But then that Friday, I'm packing up to leave, and she was like, yeah, so tomorrow when you come in, blah blah blah. And I was like, wait, we don't work on weekends. I made plans to go out of town. Like, I didn't make plans to go out of town, but still, I was like, we don't work on weekends. I wasn't expecting to come in. She was like, yeah, well, you have to be flexible. Now I was like, but you told me we don't. Okay. And then one day it was like 4:50 or something, and I was packing up, and she told me like, oh no, we stay till 6. We stay till 5. Like, you don't do that. Meanwhile, she was packing up and leaving at like 4:45, 4:30, right? They were like, you just got to keep calling. You're the assistant, blah, they scoop. So she basically told the casting director, like, Cristal doesn't want to work weekends. Cristal doesn't want to stay a full day. Cristal had words with the production coordinator, which I didn't. And I find all this out when that Saturday I'm going to get my hair braided, and I open our team email, and there's an email from the casting director to our casting producer saying, let's be on the phone with Cristal on Monday to fire her. And I was like, wait, what? And I had to tell the girl, wait, don't braid nothing, because I might not be able to pay for it. Hold on. And so I called the lady, I called her, and I was like, girl, what was going on? And she was like, well, Jennifer told me all this stuff, all that stuff. And then I explained, my side, and she was like, oh my God, like, I wish I had talked to you first. But because she had gotten sick, she had like the flu, so she wasn't there a couple of days. So she was like, I guess I just have to, I feel like I have to defer to Jennifer because I haven't been there, because she is your supervisor. She was like, I wish we had talked to you first. I didn't realize you guys shared the email account. So, and she was like, and then honestly, like, I can say, like, I can't override it. I can't say Cristal's gonna stay. And she was like, but do you want to stay? Now, she said she wants you to leave.
Right.
Do you want to stay and try and work through that atmosphere? And I was like, okay, I guess you're right. And then when I tried to call Jennifer, she wasn't answering the phone because she was away for her little fun weekend. And when she did answer the phone, she's talking to me about every single thing. And I was like, yeah, but what's this about you firing me? And she got to stuttering and stammering. And I cussed that woman out like a nigger in the street. Hard ER. I cussed her out so bad. I went off so bad. And she was like, hey, you can't talk to me like that. I was like, why can't I? You just a stranger now. You ain't my boss. Like, but then I was here, and it was like 80 degrees in March and like 40 degrees in New Jersey. And I was like, well, let's just see what we can do.
Right.
Let's just see what we can do in the sun, because I really don't want to go home. And thankfully, like, my stepsister out here, and they've been like, welcoming and stuff like that. And I slept on my stepmom's couch for the first year and a half I was here. And yeah, nothing much did happen. But we just kept trying, got our, I get my little retail job, submit to the production job, see what I could find, what I could do. And then I had always wanted to act, and I knew I wanted to go to the Second City, because when I was in radio, I had seen their show. They used to have a show in Vegas. And I was like, if I'm ever in a city with a Second City, I want to take classes there. And I was driving around here, and I saw UCB, and I was like, okay, I'll take classes there. I remember UCB. And then I drove down Hollywood Boulevard, and it was like the Angels, oh, the Second City. And I was like, what? No, that's what we're doing.
All right, well, hold that right there. I want to talk about the improv stuff. I want to talk about that. But before we get too far away from it, I want to talk about your time at North Carolina A&T, HBCU. They're getting a lot of love these days. But, and I know you Aggie strong, you Aggie pride. I got it. So that's why I want to talk to you about that experience and how it molded you, or maybe even prepared you, because, Jersey, New York, we come from the East Coast. Our experience may not have been all Black everything,
right.
before that. So talk to me about how college, even with the internships and going into radio, how that prepared you for, I don't want, sound corny and say life, but prepared you for what you were going to do after.
I mean, I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood, and my mom and dad went to A&T. I wanted to go to Spelman, of course, because of a different world. But I knew I wanted to go to a HBCU because I was just sick of white people. I was like,
And still, and still.
Yes. And I didn't want to go. I was like, I didn't want to go to Rutgers because I was too close to home. And I just didn't have any desire to go to another white school. Like, I went to a private school for high school. I was already in a predominantly white town, so middle, elementary, all that was like white schools. And I was just like, I am sick of them. I want to go be with us. Right. I want to know what that is like. You know what I mean? Because, I just didn't grow up around a lot of Black people. So I think the way it prepared me is it made me fearless, because now I'm in a space where my race doesn't matter. Whether I win or lose is all about my ability. And then I have people supporting me that look like me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even people that are adversaries, they look like me, but this is not the key factor in whether I do well or whether I don't. And so it made me kind of fearless, because you don't have that thing hanging around you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like a fearless little pushy little 18-year-old. I remember that practicum, the school said I could do it, but I had to get the company to accept me. And I remember, and my mom always brings this up, and it's so funny now because I would like never do it now, but I would like call her. I emailed, her name was Mary Kay, it's my mentor now, my big sister. I emailed, I called, I faxed, and I was like, and when I wasn't getting answers, I called like, hey, I know you got it, why you not answering me? Like, you can tell me no, but you're gonna tell me something. And I remember when I came in for my meeting, my interview, Mary was like, I had to bring you in because you were so persistent. I was like, who is this girl that keeps emailing and calling? Like, I was like, she was like, you are annoying the fuck out of me. And I had to put the face with the name. And then she fell in love with me. And I was like, well, I just wanted to know. And I figured, like, if I get a no, that's fine, but give me a no, have that much respect for me. But then she just fell in love with me. And I think, yeah, that's the thing. It made me kind of like fearless in any space, because I never had that from my those formidable years. I never had that in the back of my mind. And I think a lot of us, when we do have that in the back of your mind, like, because you're Black is the option for you to be rejected, when you do have that makes you kind of temper what you go after or how you go after certain things.
Right.
And because I didn't have that, I was just like the Kool-Aid man and everything. I'm doing this. I'm coming here. I belong here. Yeah, and it was great. I made some great friends. I learned a lot. I had, I had some really interesting teachers. And it was just, it just felt like a warm hug. It just felt like a warm hug the time I was there. Like, even if you had conflicts, I think that whole, like, taking that whole, like, your race thing out of the equation changes a lot. It changes a lot. And especially when it's, studied in a school, in an academia environment, it helps a lot. So I'm a big proponent of send all the Black babies to Black schools.
Okay. And one more thing before we go into the improv portion of your career. Now, you were working in radio. You got mad at Angie for not asking the right questions. What interviews did you do with celebrities where you got into them? Like, what was your best interview? Can you share that?
My best interview? God, it might have been. Listen, this is 20 years ago now, guys. Don't hold it against me, okay? Don't hold it against me. It was a different time. He was a different person. It was Joe Budden. It was probably Joe Budden.
Pump. Okay, go ahead. So what did you get from him? Now, are you the reason why he started podcasting? Because you got him talking so much? Like, what happened?
No. I will not take the blame for that. I will not be involved in that. No, it was when, Pump It Up was big and whatever, and he was coming out, and I don't know. I feel like I've always had the type of personality that's like I'm not coming for you, and I am gonna ask what people want to know. Like the fans don't want to hear your press release. The fans don't want to hear you recite your fucking, oh, my album's coming out and this is who's on it and this is on it. They want to know about that fight they heard about. They want to know about, like, if you had struggles with addiction, or you and that starlet that broke up or went together. And at the time, like when Joe was coming out, his music was talking about how he was a recovering drug addict.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then, like, we're both from Jersey, so I guess we had that little thing. So, when I was talking to him, and I just, I was like, man, I listened to the album. You mentioned, like, your battles with drugs and stuff like that. And we talked about that. And he was just like, you really like the homegirl. You very, like, I would never tell my business like this. And here I am telling it on radio. So that was one of the best. I think Michael Rappaport was one of the best.
Oh, wait, whoa.
This is before, again.
Hold on, no. Hold on. You are talking to two of the most polarizing personalities in America right now.
But this was before they were polarizing. This was like what, before podcasts, before we were unfortunately invited to the minds of people we love. Like,
All right, what did Michael have to say? What did he say that was special?
Michael, I think Michael was this was before the Tribe Called Quest documentary, I think.
Very well done. I'll give him credit for that. He gets credit for that. Very well done. But everything else, he's out there. Go ahead. What happened?
Yeah, he was just really, he was so cool. And then he said, he was like, I'm gonna say this. I just feel like I have to say this. And I was like, okay, what? And he was like, you have a very warm, welcoming voice, which makes me feel like I could talk to you about anything. Like I could talk to you all day. And I was like, well, Mr. Rappaport, we can. What would you like to talk about? You know what I'm saying? And I had a little crush on Mr. Rappaport, because he was Mr. Rappaport from the Jay-Z video. Mm-hmm. He was, he was like Remy and Mr. Rappaport. He was that Michael Rappaport. He wasn't now Michael Rappaport.
Right.
He was white Mike. You know what I'm saying? He was cool. He was cool. But no, I think we just talked about whatever show or thing he was doing. And it was just really flowy. Like now, I think a lot of people, especially with with podcasts, like people are trying to get those bites, trying to get those views, those clicks, and all that other stuff. But at the time, he was like really cool. At the time, I couldn't imagine Joe Budden turning into the whatever he is now.
Man.
I mean, yeah, I think my worst interview was definitely Bruce. He and his
Dick. What was he doing?
Him and his son were his son was like his road manager or something at the time. So they were in an interview with him, like him and stuff. And he was here it was in Fayetteville for a comedy show, and we were doing an interview or whatever. And I don't know why they started, because they always, when it comes to female personalities or female artists, they always ask, like, who are you dating, whatever. And so I asked the guys that. I'm like, are you dating, are you seeing somebody, like, whatever. And for some reason, guys don't like that. They find that so fucking offensive. And I don't remember what I said to Bruce, but I was like, but they asked me if I was dating. I was like, no, I'm single, I'm chilling. And his son was like, oh, you a hoe. And I was like, no, I'm single and I'm not pressed about having a man. And then he started singing Ho by Ludacris. You's a hoe. I said that you's a hoe. And just like being all extra and boisterous with it. And I was just like, and I said, I was like, yeah, well, good thing we're here for your dad. Your dad's the funny one. So Bruce is gonna be at whatever comedy spot, get your tickets, turn the mic off. I was like, y'all get out of my studio. And then for years I was angry about Bruce about that shit. And then when I was in Houston, we interviewed him on the morning show I was doing, and we talked about it, and I got an apology because I was just like, bruh. And then CeeLo and Jazzy Faye, they
were terrible too. They were terrible too.
They were cool until they tried to initiate a threesome in the control room. I was like, guys, can you not? I'm at work. Why are you on my side of the board? Stay over there. Stay over there. And that's when they were doing that. I forget what it was called, but they had that whole like. It was like the first Silk Sonic. They had done that duet album or whatever. That's about, and then T.I. T.I. is an awful interview. T.I. doesn't like women. I think that's the thing. T.I. does not fuck with women like that. So it was because I could see, like, he comes in the station and I'm like, oh, hey, I'm Cristal, da, da, da. He's like, yeah, okay, cool. But guys like, hey, T.I., I'm like, oh, what up, man? Blah, 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 blah. And then and then in Houston, I interviewed him, and I was just trying to ask him questions, and he was just giving me like one-word answers, just like didn't want to talk. And he had Big Country was with him at that time, and then Big Country would like chiming in with the ad libs, trying to be funny. They're always trying to crack on me or women in general. They always try to like crack and like start shit, but I can hold my ground. They never expect you to hold the women to hold their ground. They expect us to get frustrated or to be oh, I love you, oh, you're so silly, and da 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 da. But I be 1-2 stepping. Oh, this is the game we playing. Oh, let's go. Like I rap battled. Y'all, you remember Alpha Mega, who was on T.I.'s label? I got into a rap battle with him because he was interviewing with the Night Guy, and the Night Guy asked him, he was like, yo, kick a freestyle. And the Night Guy at the time was a rapper himself, and he could rap. And he asked him to kick a freestyle, and Alpha Mega was like, my style ain't free. That little sidestepping when they can't rap.
Right.
And I was like, but you a rapper. Like, I was charging him up on mic. I'm like, you a rapper. You supposed to be able to rap. I was like, come on, let's battle. I was like, you're not gonna let a girl beat you, right? And so I just started freestyling or whatever. I was like, we're gonna battle for your what's T.I.'s label name? Whatever the label is. Oh, I was like, Grand Hustle. I was like, I'm gonna battle you for your Grand Hustle chain. And I won. Alpha Mega owes me a Grand Hustle chain.
Get it. Yeah, let's go. But don't send it to later because you might get robbed off a train. But anyway, that's not the point.
It's probably gonna turn green before it gets here in the envelope.
He's probably not on the label anymore anyway.
But he's not, because he turned out to be an informant.
All right.
They found out he was like a government informant and had like infiltrated T.I.'s crew.
No, that's why I couldn't rap. That wasn't his day job.
He was a cop. He was a cop, not a rapper.
Golly. Okay. All right. So let's go back. Let's come back to LA. Let's start on your journey with UCB.
Second City.
Second City. All right. With improv. Mm-hmm. Tell us about that.
It was great. My first improv teacher, her name was Naima Funk.
Oh.
And yeah.
She's part of our group. Remember our group that we go see?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Exactly. Yes. Oh, the Black version. Yep.
Yeah,
that's right. So it was Naima. She taught the 101 class or whatever I took. The first class I took. And I remember in my evaluation, she was like, you're really funny. Like everybody, all my teachers' notes were just that I deliver like a stand up. And that was from radio because we only had like 30 seconds to a minute. So with improv, it taught me how to let stuff breathe. And I remember in my evaluation, Naima said, I think you're really funny. I think, you know, you just need to work on letting stuff breathe a little bit. But I think you're wonderful at this. And I'm asking you, don't give up, because there are not enough Black women in improv, in comedy in general. And she was like, but specifically in improv. And I think you're so amazing at this.
I have been a cast member of the sketch teams TMI at the Second City and Top Story Weekly at iOS. Currently, I perform with a team named Blackverse at the Pack. Oh, speaking of the Pack, can you babysit 3 of my kids on Friday, Shaw? No, Sharonda. I'm trying to do an audition. I mean, as a maternal engineer for linguists, I understand some of my contemporaries, they act outside of their music career. Maternal engineer for... That's just a fancy way of saying baby mama. And yes, for the 1,000th time, we know your baby daddy Bow Wow wasn't like Mike. Rude! Come on, Future the 15th. We don't have to take this, baby. No, we don't. Oh, Calvin was my Fitspo inspiration. He's why I got into yoga. You should have called me, Chris. I would have whipped you into shape for this audition. Appreciate the offer. I'm good. Can I? All right. I also write sketches and do improv with a team named Melanade. Oh, I see what you did there. You mixed melanin with lemonade. Yeah. Lemonade has a lot of calories. You probably want to run that off. Or do some pranayama stretches. Yeah. Thank you for your time and consideration. Oreos!
And so I was just like, after that, I was like, okay, well, I can't now. I can't give up now. So I you know, finished the curriculum at the Second City, and I performed there a lot of times. And I find that I feel like improv is a great tool to have in your tool belt. Like serious quote unquote actors, a lot of them don't take improv seriously because there's like no scripts and no direction and stuff like that. But I find that when I've worked with people who are like trained, who are like Stanislavski, and I went to this and I studied that, and they have a hard time functioning if something happens that's not on the page. Like you'll be doing a scene with somebody and a light could fall. Their whole thing is gone. Like, oh, now I'm out of character. I need a minute. I can recruit. But improvisers, the light fell. You can either work into it or you just know, like you immediately work around it and just keep going. So yeah, the Second City, and then I was in I had a couple improv teams. I really love sketch. I have always wanted to do Saturday Night Live. Like ever since I was a kid, I was like, I want to do that. I want to do like sketch comedy. So yeah, I just kept going. And then the thing with Kevin came about. I had auditioned for Kevin a couple times when they were at All Deaf.
Kev on stage. Yep, Kev on stage.
Yeah, Kev on stage. And I remember one time I either sent or posted him a video. I was introduced to him by a mutual friend when he first moved out here. And the mind F about that is that the friend introduced me like, oh, you would be good for Kevin to know because Kevin is just getting his feet wet out here. Like you can be a big help to him. Right.
Huh.
Right. Like Cristal will help you come up, Kev. And okay. So I had sent him, I don't know if I posted the sketch or whatever. I sent him a sketch. He hit me up and he was like, this is hilarious. Like, we need to have you over here at All Deaf or whatever. I sent him a video and he was like, well, send me some stuff you've written. And then I sent it to him and I remember he was like, well, you can still act with us. And I was like, oh. oh, you don't like my writing? Okay, okay. But then the sketch they wanted me to do, I just found so offensive, and I was just like, I'm not doing that. So I was like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Because it was like a sketch about light skin engagements versus dark skin engagements. And so, light skinned people were like running through the fields and all that other stuff. And then dark skinned people was like, I already gave you 3 babies. Why you want me to marry you? Da 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 da. And I was like,
who was writing this stuff? Like, what is going on?
Child, listen, and then come to find out, a woman I've since become friends with since that time, she's the one who did that part.
Wow.
She did it.
Wow. Okay.
But it's fine. I mean, and for her, like, she still works with the all deaf people and stuff like that. And I'm like, wow, you could have. But I didn't want that on tape. I didn't want me doing that on tape. But yeah, so then, yeah, we just kind of have been in touch via Instagram since this friend introduced us.
Mm-hmm.
And he hit me one day and he was like, can you teach improv? And I said, yeah. I was like, yeah, I can teach improv. And he was like, because I want to do a show, kind of like Wild 'N Out, kind of like Who's Line. I've always loved like Who's Line. And they did that improv challenge.
Mm-hmm.
The Real Comedians, they did that improv challenge. And he was like, and that went like so well. And I would like to, because we've been trying to work together, before. So yeah, we came up with Black People Don't Do Improv, which really, that was just a working title that he said while we were taping the first episode, and we were supposed to come up with a different name, but we never did.
This game is called Expert Analysis. Patreon. Send us suggestions of literally anything, and we will have a player come up and have 2 minutes to explain it to us like an expert on the subject.
No, this is going to
Give
be
us an
Tony's
example.
thing.
I'm going
So,
to this one. I don't care.
Say it's barbecue sauce,
Uh-huh.
right? You would come up here and you would tell us the molecular breakdown of barbecue sauce.
Okay.
You would tell us where it was invented or how your great uncle invented it, and nobody has perfected the recipe since. Okay. You are the expert about this particular thing, and you're going to teach us for 2 minutes about it, all right?
Yeah.
So now here we are, like 2 seasons in, and it's so much fun. And I met so many great, talented actors and actresses, and I love that a lot of them are like actors or stand-ups, and came in like never really having delved into improv.
Yeah.
I mean, Angel is just amazing.
Seems right. She seems good at everything. Like
Angel is the Beyonce of acting. Like she just has it. Like whatever it is, Angel has it. Angel can do it. And then Angel also is fearless. Like she's like, I'm okay. Well, let's try it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's try it.
What I see about her, Kevin, and all them, and Kevin might be scheduling, but I always feel like they're always willing to go first. Like they're always like, I'm coming up. I'm gonna do it. Like they don't let anybody else go before. I'm going up there to try it. Like, so it's like,
yeah.
I love it.
Well, they also like, it's it is a lot of fun. You know what I mean? Yeah. And and then too, like, that's like Kevin has been, Kevin's talked about like when he did his research to start the streaming app and stuff like that, and the things that fans wanted to see. Fans really loved, I guess, even when they were at All Deaf, when it was like him, Tahir, Tony, and Angel. Mm-hmm. So he's kind of built that platform around them. So if you'll notice, it's always like Angel, Tahir, Tony, and Kevin in every episode of the improv show, some way, somehow.
Right.
Now Tony hasn't been with us because, of course, he's grieving over the loss of his son. So, and we miss him.
Yeah. He
was supposed to come back these last couple episodes, but he just wasn't ready, and that's fine. We miss him terribly. But yeah, like the fans love them, and they are, they're having fun. Like Kevin even when we started, of course, everybody has their favorite games, but like Kevin will be now, it'll be like he'll sit an episode or two out and he'll be standing there watching. He's like, damn, I wanted to play that. You know, it's like, oh, you guys are gonna do alphabetical. No, I wanted to play that. Let me be in this episode. I'll sit out the next one or whatever. So yeah, and that's just how we got here. Like Kevin, you know, Kevin's got this platform, and Kevin is dedicated to amplifying Black creators. He does, you know, take extra efforts to amplify Black women creators, and I'm really grateful to him about that. And it's just like, really, somebody asked me about working with them, and I'm just like, they are almost kind of like the first people I've worked in here that are, they embrace the fun in making the content. A lot of times you'll get on these sets and you could be doing comedy and everybody's just like so serious and so like, but they're like, you know, they're really warm and they're nurturing and they're supportive to each other and everybody that comes through their thresholds. Because I know that first episode, I was so nervous and I had stayed up all night doing my hair, so I hadn't slept. And I was just like, and then like Tony Baker was in there, who I'm a fan of, and I was just like, I felt like it was so bad. And then the next month when we taped, I was like, I'm a little bit better. I was like really nervous. And he was like, Kevin was like, yeah, you were. But I had heard, I think one of our breaks during that first taping, when we went out to get air or lunch or whatever, Kevin was talking to the director. He didn't know I was behind him, and he was like, I guess we had taped a couple hours, and he was just like, and I heard him, and he was like, he was like, I love this. And the director Tony was like, I do too. He was like, this is so much fun. And he was like, and Cristal is the host. Like, there's nobody else. It has to be Cristal. And I was like,
oh, that's so good. I remember, I promise you. So I'm in the Patreon, of course. I got the app. Like, I love what he's doing there with everything. And when I first saw it, I was like, oh, I know her. I was like, oh, I took my camera out. I was like, look at Cristal on the screen.
I appreciate it. Because I was like, oh, what?
Yeah. And it's so funny because if they don't have the Patreon, they're not going to see you for a couple months. But I was like, oh, I was right there that day. I was like, look at that. I was like, ew.
Oh my God. When we started this season, and because, yeah, I get the Patreon link, but initially I was like, they had me trying to like time the games and do the lines and all the other stuff. And now our amazing producer Kylis has stepped in and absorbed some of that. So I didn't really get to look into Patreon, but when we started taping this season and those crystal balls started popping up, I was like, what is that? And then Young Deuces, he told, oh no, Kat told me, she was like, yeah, the Patreon want this to be your emoji, like, you know, Angel has the wings and Kev has that, and I was like, I have emoji. Oh my God!
They love you, man. They want all your merch. They was like, oh, what is she wearing this episode? Like, I'm telling you, they on it. They on it.
They did. I love them. And yeah, the moderator Kat actually, because when Khalil and I started Bubblin brand, honestly, we just like, just trying to make a buck, figure out a way. Like, and we were like, we doing these print on demand stores, but they take so much. So he was like, we just get a heat press and we could get the screens and do it ourselves or whatever. And then that wasn't really moving much because we also weren't promoting it like that. Because we still had to like have regular jobs to pay bills and stuff.
Right.
And then after one of the tapings, Kat emailed me and she was like, you know, listen, you know, we love you. You're so funny. You're so much fun on the show. We think you're doing a great job as a host. But here's the business part of it. You need to get your shit together. Where's your merch? They're asking for it. Get your store up, blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, oh, okay. And then that's when I was like, let me figure this out and get it up. And they've been really supportive. I'm really grateful. Y'all saved Christmas. Thank you. And and I'm learning so much just from being around, Kevin and Angel and them. And the Patreon, the people in the Patreon have been amazing. And like, to the point, like yesterday, they didn't give me the link for the first day of shooting. And I was just thinking, oh, I don't want the Patreon to be mad at me. I don't want them to think I'm acting funny. That's why I was like in the camera yesterday, like, hi guys, love you. And, like, give me the link, like, let me talk to the people, because I don't want them to feel like, oh, now we gave her the pass, now she's too good for us. Like, no, because it is such a different thing to be like supported. You do these shows and you're wrapped and then you never hear from them again, or like I did McMillions. That was done. They just got, like, the producers on that show just got like an $8 million deal with HBO Max. I've never, nothing about, when we're doing this, you want to write, like, that was nothing. So to actually, see and be able to feel the support of the people watching the content is amazing. And everybody is so funny. Like, the people in the Patreon be having me cracking up.
They're good, but let me tell you something. On that improv show, it's Angel, then Tahir, then Kevin, but Lisa B. Oh my God!
My God!
Yeah!
My God! Who knew?
She
Who
is.
I mean, of course we do, but
she's so good.
Hi, Alexa. What is 281.5 million minus 15 million?
281.5 million minus 15 million is 266.5 million.
Alexa, is 266.5 million enough to go towards police initiatives, even though it was supposed to be for city pandemic relief? Hi, Alexa. How can I get back $15 million to save the youth center if I've already spent it on the police?
Sorry, I don't have an answer for that.
Oh, well.
She killed it every time. She killed it every time. And Leah, who played with us on Friday,
yes,
our affirmative action hire, come to find out, Leah messaged me after the show, and there was a message, like there was already a message in the message thread. And so I scrolled up, it was from 2018, like Leah and I performed together at the Second City. I was like, I should have known. I should have known, because you were too good. You were too good. You were too ready. And she's an editor. She's actually an editor at the studio, but another woman who was supposed to play Friday got the emails mixed up, so she didn't show up. So they were just like, anybody here want to play? And Leah was like, sure, I can do it. And I'm like, whole time they're thinking you just like, the Cinderella story, you just the girl in the mailroom, and really you're deadly with it.
No, her, Candice Renee,
Candice
Angel's Girls, Denora, and
yes,
what's the other girl's name?
Yes, Candice, Brandy, Quinn,
yes, like
Quinn,
those two,
yes.
they come ready every time. I love them
every time.
But no, to hear what I love about him, he doesn't care. Like, he doesn't care if he's like, even on the comedian's challenge show, he doesn't care if he's the butt of
the county, like how you did it.
I got you. I'll give you the intro and everything.
You just gonna jump right in, huh?
I can't sing in this.
Oh, this is gonna mess my whole confidence up.
Something I wrote that's near and dear. It's kind of came to me.
Okay. Shh. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, bird.
When I close my eyes and think of you and all the magical things you do, I can't imagine my life without you. It's like paradise now that I know that it's real. Makes no difference what you're going through. You're gonna make it out.
Yes.
And God's gonna see you through. All I wanna do is just explain why did I feel the way I do. What a joy to share with you. For me to leave is price to die is gain. If any more I need to say, the list goes on and on all day.
That wasn't even the chorus.
Huh?
Come on, bro. We was out here really trying to write a song, and all you did is Google some lyrics, and not even one set of lyrics.
All I want.
Don't think for the bit. He'll stay committed. Like it's a joy to watch him perform because you know that he doesn't care. Like he's not gonna hold back for anything.
Yeah,
I love that reckless part of him. It's reckless but under control, you know.
I've been watching Tahir since I moved, and I had to tell him, like, when I moved here, one of my friends was friends with Tahir, and so she would be like, anytime he'd do a birthday show or whatever, she'd get the girls together and we'd all go. And so when they came to New Jersey for the last tour, I was home. Me and my mom went to the show, and you know, everybody was magnificent. But my God, Tahir, my God. And I had to tell Tahir, I was like, Tahir, bruh, like I've been watching you for these last basically 12 years. And like I seen the growth, and Tahir don't miss. Mm-hmm. Like Tahir don't miss. And it's like he said yesterday, he was like, I'm a menace. I was like, the next time we tape, I'm gonna make a Tahir is a menace t-shirt. Because he is, but he's fantastic. And that's it. Like the Tahir and Angel both are just like balls to the wall. Like, all right, let's go. Like,
so good.
So good.
All right. Enough about Kim on Stage and them. You're doing great with them. I hope they will continue. That's your show. That is your show. But let's talk about another one of your shows. That's with our guy. Let's talk about Black Spider-Man, and when are we getting a season 2? Because I don't think y'all have the right to hold it back from us, even in the pandemic. What's up with Black Spider-Man? And go.
See, that's a Khalil question. I've asked that
as
question.
A producer and a writer for the series. I feel like you have some kind of input or say.
I very little, because Khalil is Black Spider-Man, so Khalil would be like, I don't feel like jumping around today. So I know, like, Khalil said that he wanted to do season 2 animated, and we've also been trying to find partnerships, money, and you know, like a studio. I know we're working on a deal with another production company right now, but they're interested in talking about, and so I guess the opportunity is there, but I honestly don't know. I've been asking Khalil, we doing a season 2. It actually was Chance's idea, our other partner Chance. It was actually his baby. Okay. And we all worked on it. Me, Khalil, Eric, and Chance, but it's actually Chance's baby. So we just like, too. Are we gonna do it? Are we not? And then also it's like, because you know, Spider-Man is branded. It's like, it's not like we don't have Marvel money, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't know. I wish I knew. I wish I had an answer for you. I would love to. We were supposed to film some stuff like right at when we got shut down that weekend. We were supposed to film another season to talk about, and Kev was gonna be on it. We were like so excited. We were like, we got Kev on stage. Right. And then everything shut down, and so now it's just been like all of us, like the side a lot of people don't see is that we still got to pay bills, right. And when we ain't working, if you don't see us like on your TV screens, chances are we're also not working at your local Old Navy or anything like that. So, it's just been like that thing, trying to get that, and then dealing with like the psychological effects of the pandemic for me. And I really don't know. I hope so. I've asked Khalil.
It's okay. I understand. It's good. I'll call. It's okay. Let's just see where his head is at with it. Because I saw they did the little skit a couple weeks ago. I saw that, and they did another thing. The special effects and that thing they just did last weekend was amazing. Like that was crazy. So I know he's probably working on something. I know he's got day jobs and he's doing this thing. But so you can't control that. But what I do remember you saying is that you are fearless, and when I say that, I try not to prepare for these interviews because I just want to have a free-flowing conversation, but I did happen to go to your YouTube page, and you mentioned it earlier. What Naima said to you is that you deliver like a stand-up, and you did do stand-up. I did not mention that at first. I seen some clips on your page. Was it scary? How long did you do it? And when did you know you were good at it?
It is scary. I still do it every now and then, and I honestly don't know that I'm good at it. I know for a fact that I've only bombed once. I know that I've only been terrible once. But the thing about stand-up is I respect it, and I respect it, and I respect and love stand-up comedians so much, but I don't enjoy it as much as I enjoy other things. Like, I enjoy improv more, I enjoy sketch more, I enjoy acting more than I enjoy stand-up, and I don't want to disrespect it because there's a whole lot that goes into stand-up besides just getting up there and telling your jokes.
Yeah.
And I don't have the energy for it. I don't like. I just don't care to do it. And like I said, I respect stand-up, and I respect stand-up comedians so much that I don't want to be taking up space, in a world that I could honestly care less about. But like, if my because there's a lot of dues paying in radio. I mean, in stand-up, just as there was in radio. And I'm kind of it's the I don't know if it's elite is the word, or the kind of thing about me where I'm like, in my head, I'm like, man, I already paid dues for one thing.
Right.
I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not going to these shows and being like, you on the bill with 20 other people and just got to guess what time you're going to go on stage. And also, I'm older now, so I don't necessarily need to be out. I don't necessarily need to be known. I don't need to be in the streets. Like, I want to go, if my set, the show started at 8, my set is at 9. I want to do my set at 9 and go home. A lot of these shows, especially like, at the Comedy Store, you be on the bill with 18 other people, and you just got to get there at 7 and wait till they call your name. And I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. COVID or not. So, but like, I have friends that do stand-up shows, or, people that I've worked with and stuff, and they'll be like, Cristal, can you come do a set, or you want to do a set? And I'll do that. But as far as like the grind of it, I'm not that invested. Like, I'm not, going from mic to mic with my notebook and but no, it is terrifying. Like, every stand-up show I do, I say to myself before I go, like, you'll never see these people again. So just say it. You'll never see these people again. And if it's terrible, you'll never see them again. And if it's great, then maybe they'll follow you on Instagram. But if it's terrible, you never have to see these people again. It'll be like it never happened. But yeah, I'll do it every now and then if a friend is doing a show or somebody's doing a show and they're like, hey, can you come? Sure. But as far as like being in the streets and people go open mic, notebook, and we go into schmooze and we go into this person's house afterwards. Nah, bruh. I'm gonna do my little 10 minutes and I'm gonna go home. That's cool. Bye.
You
Love you,
mentioned
bye.
McMillions. You mentioned McMillions. I'm gonna get you out of here in a minute, but you mentioned McMillions.
Okay.
So that was another part of your repertoire, the acting part. So are you still pursuing acting? And if so, what has been your best audition so far?
I am still pursuing acting. I haven't been actively pursuing it in this year because I got dropped by my agents last year. That was fine.
Yikes.
It was fine. It was like, when you want to break up with somebody, but they break up with you first. So I was like, oh no, this is so sad. But and then I haven't been like self-submitting, but I am still pursuing acting. My best audition,
even if you didn't book it, like the thing that you felt the best when you were in the room.
The one I felt the best about was my Saturday Night Live audition where I did the character reel, produced by Khalil. Where I did the character reel. I was like, that was pretty damn dope. We pulled that together in like a matter of 4 hours. It was dope. It was funny. And then they called to make sure I signed the NDA, but they didn't call me in the audition. But it's all right. It's all right. Like my agent, my former manager had told me, she was like, Cristal, I think that what's gonna happen is if you audition to be a cast member, you're not gonna get on. She was like, but you'll book that TV show, that movie that makes you a household name, and then you'll be on as a host. She was like, that's what I see for you. You'll be a Saturday Night Live host. And maybe even to the point where you'll be one of those like Tom Hanks who's hosted like 5 times and all that.
They just want you back. Like, yeah.
Right, because they want you back. She's like, but as a castmate, I don't know. So that I feel like was my best audition. But actually McMillions might be my best audition because I didn't want to audition for it. Because it was one of those auditions where now lately, the last couple of years, they've been sending these auditions where they want you to improv the audition. They want you to like, this is your motivation and this is what's happening, and write a monologue and da 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 da. And I feel, and a lot of actors feel like this, like you pay writers. You pay writers. You're paying me to act. If you want me to write, then you're gonna pay me to write. Right. So when the McMillions audition came through and they were like improv like a 2-minute scene where this is happening, that's happening, I was like, I told my man, I'm not doing that. I'm not writing a show for them. Like, no. And it came like 2-3 times and I was like, no. And then they like kept calling my manager and was like, the actual audition, I think I put something on tape, just like because she was like, they keep asking about you. So I put something on tape. It was probably like 30 seconds. And I don't know if it even was my best work, but the reason I got that was because I looked exactly like that lady. It was a reenactment show and I looked exactly like that lady. And that's why they were so insistent on me. And then they brought me in to meet with the producers. And it was like a lot of times auditions, they just want to know you can read. They just want to know. And if you watch certain shows, you'd be like, oh, okay, that person, they can just read. They not necessarily an actor, but they can read. And so, yeah, they brought me in. They really just wanted to know that I could read because I looked exactly like this lady. And it turns out, like, they did mic me up and record lines, but none of those lines got used. It was just all like my face, my head, the back of me, but it was fine. And it was on HBO, and I met Mark Wahlberg, and I got to go to a swanky premiere. Like I've been to like, the indie red carpets, but I got to go to like a HBO premiere.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. And I was late for that too. So
who was the better human being, Mark Wahlberg or Michael Rappaport? Which one?
That's tough.
Huh?
That's tough. Well, I think I'm gonna have to say Michael Rappaport, just because he doesn't have that the charge of assaulting an Asian hate crime. It doesn't. Mark Wahlberg, yeah. Mark Wahlberg has a hate crime under his belt. Michael Rappaport.
He's just
Michael Rappaport. So I guess Michael Rappaport is the winner by default because he hasn't physically assaulted somebody.
Oh gosh. All right, let's get off of that. All right. The last thing I want to do before we end the show, and I have a special way I want to end the show, but when are we going to get more Shade and Shenanigans? I need to understand why you haven't done that in a few years.
I haven't done that. The main reason I haven't done that is because I haven't figured out how to monetize it.
Okay.
And I just be like, I need to get paid. But the other reason is because I want to have, since I no longer have my co-host, I want to have guests on the show. But I need a facility, and those can be quite expensive. Basically money.
All right.
Basically
So wait,
money.
hold on. I know you don't want to take advantage, but you understand where you can tape your show.
No, because I asked about that.
Oh.
And Bro Smooth sent me a price list. You know, and I respect it. It's a business, you know, it's a business.
It is.
It just that and it's very nice. I actually got a tour of the studio yesterday with the director, and I was telling him that I wanted to I did want to bring Shade and Shenanigans back, and I have an idea for another podcast that I think will be really fun. And he was like, yeah, well, whenever. And I was like, yeah, I got the price list. And I just don't have advertisers yet. So I can't really do that. He was like, yeah, and the advertisers are the hardest part. Now, you know, of course, I was hoping for I got you. But he was like,
right, yeah, you know.
He was like, yeah, well, when you get it, okay, let's go back and tape. When you get it, it'll be here. Yeah, when you get it, it'll be here. Meanwhile, let's leave. Let's get your broke ass out of my studio.
All right, wow.
So that's all. But I'm just trying to. The pandemic hit me really hard, and I feel like I'm one of the few people that have been honest about it. Like mentally, emotionally, psychologically, it just hit me real hard. So I've been like trying to work through that, work through the anxiety and depression of it all. And then, but I do want to bring Shade and Shenanigans back. I do want to do this other podcast, and I just need to do it like you're doing this. Just open up the Zoom and get it. And I did try to bring it back last year. But I tried it on Skype, and for some reason the file wouldn't download so I could edit it. And then I just got frustrated and flipped the table and was like,
I think Skype gave up. Skype saw Zoom and was like, all right.
Right.
Never mind.
Right. Skype was and how Skype, I don't know.
Skype had a 10-year head start. Skype had a 10-year head start on Zoom and couldn't hold up. I was like, what?
Could not. It's like when all those like the Cheesecake Factory and stuff was going out of business and talking about they can't pay their rent a month into the pandemic. We've been paying $20 for a slice of cheesecake, and you don't have rent money saved up.
Your menu is as big as the Bible, and you ain't got no money. What's going on?
What?
Oh God. Yeah.
Like, yeah, Skype definitely fumbled the rock. But yeah, I just, I think I just kind of got frustrated when I tried to do that time on Skype, and then just trying to find a facility I could afford or just a way to do it. And then, like I just get distracted. I get distracted by life shit.
Yeah, 90 Day Fiance. That's what really. All right. Okay.
I mean, it does take a lot of my time. I'm not.
You could just do a podcast about that, and you could be doing your thing.
And you know what? I meant to do that because I was like, this season of Before the 90 Days, I said I was gonna do a review, but the problem is, and just like the same thing on the improv show, I get so entranced by what's going on, I forget like I'm supposed to be taking notes or whatever. And then when I'm like, oh shit, okay, I'll do it tomorrow, and then tomorrow becomes next month, and then next month becomes next year. But I'm gonna get on it. I gotta get better.
I would listen to it every week because I gotta keep up. Like you would help me keep up with all the different iterations of the show, because all I know right now is Memphis. Like that's all I can focus on. Because there's so many people. Like I know Michael and Angela. Does he really love her? Like, can we just talk about that real quick? Does he really love her?
We've been like 3-4 years on Michelangelo. I'm reluctant to believe it, but part of me is like, he has to, because why else would you continue to deal with that? It's other women. Like, if you look at like Soldier Boy Usman and Lisa, who like wound up with this little like troll looking white lady and wound up like calling him all kinds of N-words and all this other stuff. You know, like, he got rid of her and he got him a new old white lady, but this new one seems cool. But she's still like, she's a sucker in this equation, I feel like, because she bought. Oh, you haven't seen Usman?
No.
Well,
no. See,
well,
that's why we need the show, so you can keep us up to date.
Well, this woman, right? This white woman from New Jersey, whatever. she was like a fan of Usman's. Okay, that in and of itself, okay, in his little rap career, and they were talking like via DM, and then he told her, like, you know, I guess they got close, and he was like, he's been hurt, you know, by the last white lady from America, and he was like, but you know, maybe you're a potential girlfriend. So she packed her stuff up to go to South to meet him in Tanzania, and she brought gifts. She brought this man a MacBook and a PS5. And this man kissed the PS5 before he kissed her.
Yeah.
And she gave him his little gifts. They're in 2 separate hotel rooms in Tanzania. She laid out the rose petals and all that. She gave him the gifts. Even said on film, like, you know, hopefully he'll stay with me tonight, blah 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 blah. And don't you know, my man Moon walked out of that room with his PS5 and his MacBook.
Yeah. See,
he said you're really potential now, and I was like, bruh. Go home.
It's too much. All right. So we're gonna get off night because we'll be another hour doing that. All right. So this thing that I like to do at the end of the show is called "Here's What I Got." So I got 3 questions for you. You answer rather quickly, and it's like, "Here's what I got." So here's the first one. Here's what I got. What do you have? What's your message for Black women?
Keep going. Don't give up. And do what you want, because they're going to talk about you either way.
Okay. Here's what I got. Number 2, what is your message for Black men?
No. My message for Black men, again, keep going, don't give up, and do better. Because we need you. The cis-hets, bruh, what is going on? Ray J talking about he's switching draw colors so we can't see the skid marks instead of just washing his ass. Like Nick Cannon and Future out here trying to make new people for the people we lost from COVID. Like, brothers, like, you know, we just need y'all to do better, be accountable. You don't like that girl, don't mess with that girl. Don't leave a trail of broken people and broken children.
Okay. All right. Last one. Here we go. Here's what I got. What is your message for people who want to pursue a career in entertainment?
First thing, don't quit your day job. Second thing, go for it. And yeah, just go for it. There's gonna be bumps and bruises along the way, but if it's something you really love, it's something you're passionate about, go for it and try to do it every day, whether it's writing or creating a TikTok or anything. Just do it.
Be fearless, right?
Be fearless, baby.
Yeah, you are an amazing person, and I gave you your flowers at the top. I want to give you some more right now. Just the fact that you just did all of this because you wanted to do it and you found a way. You got fired a week after being in LA and still stayed and now are thriving just because you stuck to what you wanted to do and what you felt that was your career path. And I love you for it. And I Thank you for being on. Our special guest, Cristal Bubblin. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Will. We miss you in LA. I
I know.
understand why you ain't back, but you know we do miss you.
Yeah,
In the ether.
I miss y'all too, man. Like you know it already. Y'all already know. But thank you for being on. And here's what I got. That's our episode. And see y'all next time. Right?
Bye, y'all. Thank you for
Yeah.
having me.
Of course.